Okay, so we're going to do the Unit 6 practice day. We're going to kind of review the topics that we've covered in Unit 6. That way we can help you get as ready as possible for the Unit 6 test that we have coming up. So let's look at number 1. They want us to find the value of the variable. In our case, the variable is x. So let's see what we can do. Well, they have x on all three sides, but that doesn't mean all three sides are equal. See these little red tick marks? Those two sides are the two that are equal. So to get x, we have to set those two equal to each other. So let's do that. We're going to have 4x minus 5 equals 3x plus 7. Subtract our 3x. We'll get x minus 5 equals 7. Add 5 on both sides. And we get x equals 12. And we found the variable. That's it. X equals 12. That's all they ask us to find. That's number 1. Number 2. To ask us to find the measure of angle CBE. Okay, so where is CBE? Well, B is where it turns. So CBE, they must be talking about this angle right here, angle B. Let me do something right quick. There we go. Okay, so what can we do? Well, I know that this is an isosceles triangle. So that means that our two base, the big one is an isosceles triangle. I don't know about the little one. No, the big one is. So our two base angles on the big one have to be A and D. Well, since A is 28, that means D is also 28 degrees. But now it takes it a step further. They tell us that A and D are parallel to each other. Not A and D. AD and BE are parallel. AD is parallel to BE. That's what these little arrows mean. So now I can say, well, wait a minute. If these are parallel, the angle I want B and the angle they give, or not that they gave me, we figured out D, what kind of angles are those? These are alternate interior angles. So B has to be 28 degrees. And that's the angle they wanted us to find. Angle CBE. So our angle is 28 degrees. Okay, number 3. They want us to solve for y. Well, if we look, all of the sides are the same. If all the sides are the same, that means all the angles have to be the same. I just said angle C was 60. It has to be. They say angle C is 5y minus 15. So that means 5y minus 15 has to equal 60. Add 15 to both sides. I get you 5y equals 75. Divide by 5. And we get y equals 15. And that's what they ask us to find. They ask us to find y. So y is 15. Okay, number 4. 4 asks us to find or let me back up. So they give us the fact that triangle NOP is congruent to triangle RST. We have to find the congruent corresponding parts. Well, RS has to be in the same spot as whatever other part we say. So RS, we have to say NO. Just say no. Because N goes with R, O goes with S. So this will be segment NO. Number 4. Number 5 asks us what angle goes with P. Well, there's P. Angle T goes with it. So that would be angle T. So remember, when you match corresponding parts, you go in whatever order the first one is, that's what the second one has to be in. It's got to be in the same order. Okay, number 6, the ratio of the side lengths of a triangle is 2 to 3 to 5, and its perimeter is 54 meters. What's the length of the shortest side? So let's write this down like how we did it in class. We did 2 to 3 to 5. That's what they gave us originally. Now, this is the reduced version of our actual side lengths. So I'm going to do some blanks here. These are our actual sides. We don't know what they are yet, but we will. Together, the actual ones have to give us 54 meters. They better give us 54 meters. If not, we made a mistake somewhere because it says the perimeter is 54. So what I would do is I would add up the ratios, 2 plus 3 plus 5. If I add those, that gives us 10. Is 10 the same as 54? No. I need to figure out 54 divided by 10. Well, that gives me 5.4. So I have to multiply each of these times 5.4. Times 5.4. Times 5.4. Times 5.4. If I multiply each of those times 5.4, that will give me my full triangle. So 2 times 5.4 is 10.8. 3 times 5.4 is 16.2. And then 5 times 5.4 is 27. Now, if I added those up, then yes, they would give me 54. So these are my original side lengths. It says, what's the length of the shortest side? Well, our shortest is 10.8. So our shortest is 10.8 meters. That's all we had to do. Okay, 7 and 8, they want us to just solve the proportion. So on these, that's where we cross multiply. Or the notes call it the product property, cross product property. Same concept. I'm going to do 16 times 4. And that's going to have to equal 12 times x. I'm going to say it the other way around. I'm going to say 12x equals 16 times 4. So 12x equals 64. Divide by 12. And we get x equals, thinking it's going to be a fraction. Yep, 16/3. Since that's not a nice fraction, we'll just leave it like that. X is 16/3. The next one, we have 35 times 18. That's going to have to equal 6x. So 6x equals 35 times 18. That means 6x equals 630. Divide by 6, and we get x equals 105. There we go. Number 9. What's the length of BD? That's all I ask us. Length of BD. Well, here's BD right here. I notice that AB is congruent to AD. These two are equal. That means these two have to be equal. So BC must be 15. Together, This gives us 30. So BD is equal to 30. In number 10, it says the measures of angles PQS. So PQS is this angle right here. And RQS are blank. Now, it's not asking what's the actual measure. That's not what it's asking. It's asking, what do we notice about them? Are they going to be the same? Are they different? What's going on? Well, you see how RS and PS are the same? They're both 8. That means these two angles up here have to be the same. So the measure of angle PQS and RQS are equal. So then it goes on to say, well, what is PQS if RQS is 76 degrees? So RQS is 76. What's that mean about PQS? We just said they're equal, so that means PQS better be 76 degrees. That's our answer. Measure of angle PQS equals 76 degrees. Don't overthink this. Do not overthink it. Number 11, given that the measure of angle SRT is congruent to URT. So SRT, this angle, is congruent to that angle. Find UT. Well, I know ST is 47. That means UT has to also be 47. As an Aggie, I just kind of died a little bit inside. Why would I want to write T? Why would I want to write UT? Should be TU. Anyways. Oh, joking aside. UT is 47. Okay. For the next 6, we're going to use this diagram on the right. Find each measure using the mid-segments given. There's going to be a lot going on here. First, it wants to find HI. HI is this one. Remember, in order to go from the outside to the inside, you have to divide by 2. ED is the outer wall that's parallel to the inside wall, HI. So I have to divide 18.2 divided by 2. That's going to get us 9.1. Ask us about FD. Now FD, the one that's parallel to it, is 17.5. That's our small one. The small wall is 17.5. How do I get the large side? I multiply by 2. 2 times 17.5. When I do that, that gets us 35. And then 15 asks about GE. So that one right there, GE. Well, that's half of ED or DE, however you want to say it. That's half of it. So it's the same as our mid-segment HI that we just found, because we know these are congruent right here. Those are all congruent. So HI is 9.1. That means EG has to also be 9.1. Okay, 16 asks us about the measure of angle HIF. HIF is right here, the one I'm putting in green. Now this is where our parallel lines come into play. So the only angle they give us is 58. But that's going to be our measure, because the 58 they give us and the 58 we want are alternate interior angles. So HIF has to also be 58 degrees. Then they ask us about angle HGD. HGD. That's this angle right here. Well, if we look at our two lines that are parallel to each other, HI and DE, where HG is our transversal, the 58 and the angle we want, HGD, those are same side interior. So I have to do 180 minus 58. Gonna give me 122 degrees. This angle is 122. And then last but not least, they ask about angle D. So angle D is right here. Well, from the 58 we found earlier, there's different ways you can look at this one. One is to look at the 58 we found earlier. Those are corresponding angles, which means they have to be the same. So D is also 58 degrees. Another way you could have looked at it is with the 122 we just found. Those are same side interior, which means they have to add to 180. So you can subtract them and say, oh, that's 58. Two different ways to look at it. They both end up with 58. Okay, I think we marked that picture up enough. Number 19. They want us to write the angles of DEF in order from smallest to largest. Now remember, when you're doing your smallest to largest, you want to start by looking at the smallest side. Which one is my smallest side? The 1 1/4. So then I go across the triangle. And that's going to be my first angle. So angle F has to come first. It's got to be the smallest. Now look for the next smallest. Well, that would be this 2 right here. So I go across my triangle, and that's my second angle, D. And then that leaves us with 2 1/8 being our biggest. Across from that is angle E. If we wanted to make it look complete, there's 3. We go across from it. There's angle 3. That's our biggest. F is the smallest, then D, then E. Okay, 20. Write the sides of triangle GHI in order from shortest to longest. So now we're dealing with the sides, meaning they, to an extent, give us the angles. They don't give us all of them, though. We've got to find angle I. So how do we find the third angle? We add the other two together and subtract from 180. So 59 plus 61. That's going to give us 120. Subtract that from 180. And we get 60. So this angle is 60 degrees up there. Now we can do like we planned. So look for your smallest angle. Which one's your smallest? 59. That's your smallest. If we go across from that angle, that's our smallest side. So HI. That's going to be the smallest side. I don't like how that looks. Okay, next. Well, I've got 60 up here. Go across from it. That's our second smallest. GH. And then last but not least, we have 61. That's our biggest angle. So that means our biggest side is IG. And there we go. They're listed in order of shortest to longest. HI is the shortest. IG is our longest. And the last two. Tell whether a triangle can have sides with the given lengths. We're just going to have to say yes or no. And we have to show work. In other words, don't just say yes and be done with it. Actually show why. Now this is, like I said, when we learned it on day 8, this is a little bit of a review because we actually touched on this back in unit 2. So we have to add our smallest two sides together, and they have to be greater than that third side. Our smallest two here are 5 and 6. So 5 plus 6 gives me 11. How does that compare to the 11 given? It's equal. Can they be equal? No, they only can be, the smallest two have to be greater than that one. So this would be a no. They cannot be equal. So then let's look at the next one. My smallest two sides are 12 and 15. So 12 plus 15. That's going to get us 27. Our largest side is 21. How does the 27 compare to the 21? It's greater than. So since it's greater than, this is a valid triangle. So this would be yes. It can only be greater than. Never equal, never less than, only greater than. Okay, so with that in mind, that is it for the Unit 6 practice day. Remember, you are awesome and you were created to do wonderful things. Always believe.